As she already stated, my name is Alexander, and I'm here to talk about character development. And if I were to put a title on this talk, I would entitle it Developing a Mark of Distinction. Developing a Mark of Distinction. To have character, it means to have a mark of distinction. To have a mark of distinction means that you are distinguishable. And to be distinguishable means that you are different. And it is being different that enables us to make a difference in our community. And the problem that we sometimes face in life is the fact that we are sometimes afraid of being different. And it is our fear of being different that enables other people to sometimes define and dictate who we are. And when somebody else has the opportunity to define or to dictate who we are, they can stifle us and hold us back from having the impact and the influence that our character enables us to have. So how do we develop a mark of distinction? The first thing is we must have purpose. We must have purpose. We must understand our purpose. It is our purpose that gives us meaning. Somebody say meaning. Meaning. Yeah, it gives us meaning. It gives us a reason to live. It gives us something to strive for. Our purpose is our aim or our goal in life, right? If you remember the movie Black Panther, King T'Challa had a purpose. And his purpose was to protect Wakanda. Protect Wakanda from what or from who? To protect Wakanda from anyone or anything that would seek to negatively exploit, I gotta get in front of the camera, negatively exploit the metal known as vibranium, which is a fictitious metal. It's not real, but a natural resource, right? Now we could use that fictional metal or resource and think about coal, or think about diamonds and how they've been negatively exploited from the continent of Africa, such as a place known as Sierra Leone, right, which is a country within Africa. And so when we think about the purpose of T'Challa, King T'Challa, all of us have a purpose by which our character is being developed when we have integrity, by protecting something of value and worth, which goes far beyond just ourselves. Our purpose is always connected, our character is always connected to helping someone beyond ourselves. Right. It's always about the community, yes, and not just our individuality. Our individuality is important, but it's always connected to someone or a community greater than just ourselves. Right. All right? So we must have purpose. But secondly, we must have a plan. We can talk about having a purpose every day of our lives, but it means nothing if we don't have a plan by which to accomplish or achieve that purpose. We have to have steps in place by which we follow in order to achieve our purpose, our plan, our goals, our dreams, our aspirations. There's nothing worse than a person that talks about, this is what I am about, but we don't see how they're going about it. I mean, that's why, you know, I'm grateful to my mother, Gail Dudley, because when she came to me about becoming a part of Ready, and when she talked about the movie, she didn't stop there with just the purpose of Ready. But it became more than a magazine. It did indeed become this movement. Whenever we talk about a movement, whenever something is moving, it means that something's happening. Yes. There's energy. Yeah. There's action. We can't talk about our purpose and not have something in place that motivates us or keeps us in a proper movement. that keeps us going forward. When we talk about a plan is in place to keep us honest. You know, a plan is in place in order to show that we have integrity. That we're not just talking about doing one thing without doing nothing at all. So that's what the plan is in place for. That's what character is all about. Character is about doing something that you set out to do and people being able to see that you've accomplished or achieved it. So we have to have a plan. But another way that we develop a mark of distinction is not just through purpose, not just through having a plan, but the third point is we must have preparation. Yes. We have to be prepared. Preparation is all about being ready to be used, right? And the beautiful thing about preparation is it helps us to develop the strength to not allow others to use us how they see fit. But we get to put ourselves in a place where we determine how we'll be used by others, right? And that's important for our character because that helps us to build our self-worth. It helps us to embrace our self-esteem because preparation is all about what we're learning. Preparation is about what we're studying and researching and observing in order to see how we best fit in our community, in order that we can also see how we can best be effective in our community as well, right? So we need preparation. We need preparation. Right now, I'm an associate minister at a church here in Columbus, and my purpose is to one day pastor a congregation. So this is the third congregation now that I've been working with, and at each congregation I've taken time to learn how to best be the best pastor I can be, right? So I'm taking notes. I'm not necessarily writing them down on paper, but I'm taking notes, mental notes of what to do as well as what not to do so that I can be the best pastor I can one day be. But right now I'm just in a preparation period. You know, so people will say, when are you going to pastor? Oh, if you start at church tomorrow, I'd be there. And I'm like, I'm not ready yet. There are still things that I am learning so that I can be prepared in order to be effective, right? So so that's the third point. The fourth point, how am I doing one time? Am I all right? You good. All right. The fourth point is we must have principles. Right? So we must have purpose, we must have a plan, we must have preparation, but we must have principles. The word principle is interesting. If you look it up in the dictionary, the etymology of the word principle is foundation. Right? So when you think about a foundation, think about a house, and before they build the structure of the house, they have to lay down the foundation so they can put the house on it. So if the wind blows, it can stand, hopefully, right? If it's a good foundation, it will stand. Foundation is all about having a platform upon which to stand. And in life, things happen that can seek to destroy us, seek to blow us away. When we talk about principles, we're talking about beliefs. We're talking about convictions. We're talking about having standards. If we don't have strong convictions or beliefs or standards, anyone or anything can come into our life and simply blow us away. And no matter how much purpose we have, no matter the plan that we have, even if we're prepared, if we don't have principles or a firm foundation, someone can say negative things and tempt us to be deterred from achieving our plan, or we can become wishy-washy, by the things people say, by the things people do. If we don't see money flowing in to a particular business, or we don't see the support, in terms of people being a part of what we're trying to accomplish, we can tend to say, this might not be for me. we might give up too soon or too quickly. So we need a firm foundation, or we need principles that can keep us focused and keep us determined and keep us motivated so that we don't give up too quickly or too easily. So we need that. And then lastly, when we talk about developing a mark of distinction, we need passion. Now, often we hear the word passion, we think about fervor, we think about energy, we think about attacking something. But the word passion is interesting. If you look it up in the dictionary, you'll discover that the word passion literally means to suffer. It means to suffer. Yeah. And so the question becomes, when we think about our character and developing our character or developing a mark of distinction, is what are we willing to suffer for? What are we willing to go through? Because in life we will always have negative criticizers. We'll have naysayers, people who do not believe in who we are or what we are about. And so we have to be willing to go through all of that in order to accomplish what we've set out to accomplish. If you remember in the movie, how many of you seen the movie? Everybody? Great! Congratulations! If you remember, oh, that's great. That's great. When you think about, or if you remember in the movie, King T'Challa, in order to become king, he had to go through tests and trials. And actually, a part of the fictional story, even though it was a hereditary piece of becoming the Black Panther or the king of Wakanda, you had to, in order to become the Black Panther or have that title, you still had to go through something. So if you remember early on in the movie, he was in the water and he was fighting with the challenger, to be the Black Panther, and he won that challenge. But then his cousin, Eric Killmonger, rises up. He comes out of nowhere and blows him out of the water, right? And he almost dies. King T'Challa almost dies, but he bounces back, right? But that's representative of life, especially if we claim that we are about a particular thing. It's not going to be easy. We will have challenges. We will have something that we must persevere through. We will have things that we must confront, which means that our character we'll find ourselves with our character having conflict, where there's going to be constant tension. But all of that is to build up the character. There is a Jewish theologian named Paul. You might have heard of him, especially if you go to church. You've probably heard of Paul. And Paul says that we know suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance, character, and character, hope, right? And I looked up that word for character in that context, and it means to prove. And we can't really talk about who we are as people, and we can't talk about what we are about until we're tested.
Yeah. Wow.
Until we're tested. So when we talk about character development or having a mark of distinction, we prove who we are by what we're willing to face and how we go through what we go through, and people being able to see the result of that on the other end. Yeah. And so character is all about not giving up, but people being able to see the hope that we have. Yeah. All right, that's all.
That was excellent.